I think part of that respect too is they all respect each other, and we saw that respect, and that's part of why I think the players acted the way they did. Is there was never a hierarchy. There was never one coach above the other. They let each other do their jobs, and I think that in turn let us be confident in what we're doing. And we kind of did what we're supposed to, as Lance alluded to. So that's kind of my memory of the coaching staff is just them letting each other do what they're supposed to, and then in turn, I think the confidence fell on us as well.
Then we'll just kind of do like a snake draft where we'll just start with you with Coach King, maybe one or two things. I think all of us could talk for a whole day. I thought we'd do this for like 20 minutes. We're already at 33 minutes. So maybe just like one or two things, or maybe even one word that comes to mind when you talk about Coach King. And then we'll kind of go around, start with you, Kaluza.
Yeah, I just think it was always bigger than football. I think that's my biggest takeaway. It was always bigger than the sport. Coach King and his family were at my wedding. So it's one of those things where it was always bigger than the game. I always, as I look back, I just appreciate the life lessons and, the value we got from being a part of that program.
Cody?
Yeah, I would probably agree with Kaluza there. Just the amount of time that we spent with those guys. I probably spent more time with them than my own dad. You know what I mean? Yeah, truly. And just the things that they taught me and learned, and it's, like you said, like Brian said, it's just more than football. It's life, and still talk to them to this day. Like nothing. Just great friends, and the most utmost respect for them. Yeah, great guy.
Lance?
Yeah, the thing that comes to my mind, kind of what Cody was talking about, is this family, right? I mean, he was, we all had great dads, right? But he was a father figure to us, right? And we were all a family. So we have good days and bad days, just like we do currently in our own family. You know what? Tomorrow we get back to work and it's going to be better, right? And there's this end goal, which Brian was talking about. Ours was to win, the state championship, right? Or win the conference, win the next opponent. But you take that into life, it's okay, as a family, what's our goal, right? What's our goal tomorrow? What's our goal by the end of the summer, right? Or whatever that case is. It's just Brian and Cody hit it right on the head, just these life lessons and lifelong friends that pretty amazing, right?
Yeah. And mine would just be professionalism, like I mentioned earlier. It's just like, we didn't know that we were a 200-student school that shouldn't just beat everybody. It just like the way that the operation and the program was run from summer camp in Dickinson all the way through the state championship. It was, we're not going to waver. We are who we are. We're going to go finger paint with the kindergartners. We're going to hang out with fifth graders. Our field is going to be immaculate. Our booster club's going to be involved. Like, it was what it was, and we'd go to other fields, and it was just like, you're stepping on sprinkler holes, or the lines weren't straight, and it was just like, this would never fly, because the expectation from everybody around the program was just so high all the time, and that's what it was, and I think that everyone just is going to rise to the occasion. So I think that's pretty cool.
Do you guys remember picking up trash on the football field?
Not really.
Oh, okay. Shoot. I'm having a flashback.
You.
What do you have?
Your community service, Spencer.
Part of my probation. Reminds me, I got a couple hours I got to get into.
Yeah. So maybe just we'll get to some of that other stuff, and I think my last kind of what's Mustangs football means to you 20 years later, we just kind of talked about. But as far as like where you felt like things were taken for granted, is there anything that you still do today that for example, I'll just start with me. So when I'm in a hotel, I still put the towels and the washcloths and stuff in the tub, like out of respect for the hotel cleaning lady or whatever. Like, make sure your linens are in the tub and that your keys on the desk. And I still do that. And Kelsey is just like, "You're so weird." I'm like, I don't know, just something that we spent so much time in hotels, our junior and senior year, especially traveling around, that's one thing that really stuck with me that I still think of today, that kind of the program is still in my mind somehow 20 years later. Anybody else have something like that?
I still do that too, but I'm glad you brought it full circle. I had no idea where it was. I thought it was, I know where I learned it. My wife asked me the same thing. How do you do that? I'm like, I don't know. It just feels like the right thing to do. I guess for me, it's maybe not a certain thing, but it's a system of things, right? So we think about how this whole conversation started, right? Monday afternoons, we know what's going to get done that week, right? We know what our opponent is, right? That's life, right? I wake up Monday morning or whatever day it is, I got a list of what I want to get done, right? What are my opponents? What are my obstacles? Like too deep, right? Okay, yeah, I get this, but this may catch me, right? The bull may jump through the fence, right? May run through the fence. So I gotta be. So yeah, that's how I tackle my life, right? Is kind of that same, instead of going to beat Chinook 72-0, I'm just tackling my family responsibilities, my job responsibilities in that same systematic approach that we learned over 20 years ago. It's kind of crazy, right, that it sticks with you so much, and that's where I feel most successful, right? Because if I don't have that list and that game plan, it's just up in the air, right? Just running bulls through the gates in Grimsley Place. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, Kaluza, you ever catch yourself throwing out some Coach King-isms or Coach Shy-isms to your players?
I just think the one I remember, like the idea of being reflective. I know we talked about quote of the week earlier, but Salisbury, I know you're kind of the same way, where you take a quote or you take the books you're reading, just really reflective of what those things are supposed to mean. I think that's one of the things I take away from Mustang football is, coach would ask you, hey, what's quote of the week this week? It's a Thursday. We talked about it on Monday, and you should know what it is. But it's just being reflective, and and there's a purpose in that. And I think I still do that to the day. I'm a big quote guy. I still look at something and try to think through it and reflect on it and see how it applies to me. And I think that all started with the bulletin boards of Mustang football. So.
All right, and then Cody.
I guess one memory I'd have, I went to high school practice once, and Mr. King was still the coach, and the kids are just taking off, not performing very well. He just flies off the handle and chews their ass, and then he turns around and made him run or something, and then just turns around to me and smiles, just like, I just need to get him fired up. So I tried that a few times in junior high football, and it worked spot on. So it takes me a little bit to get fired up, so if you just fake it every once in a while, it works pretty good. And now that I got kids, it works really well.